Kane and O-Dog enter a store to purchase 40s. Admittedly, the customer service is a little lacking. Unfortunately, the store owner fucked around and said the phrase that pays and the psychopath went psycho. O-Dog shoots the owner. He takes the wife in the back to retrieve the security video and he shoots her too. Flashback, and Kane narrates of his upbringing. His mom used drugs and his father sold them. Tate was 100% into living that life, so he didn't spend much time raising Kane. The person most responsible for raising him was Purnell, who was just a kid himself. Back to the present day, and Kane finally graduates. He receives a congratulations from Ronnie, who was the old lady of his mentor Purnell, but Purnell's been sent away with a life sentence. Kane feels an obligation to look out for Ronnie and her son Anthony. Kane lives with his grandparents, who also share the joy of his graduation. Kane attends a party with his cousin Harold. At the party, he meets up with his crew. There's the aforementioned O-Dog, who's been showing the robbery videotape to any and everyone who will watch. There's OG AWACS. There's Stacy, a cat with an athletic scholarship to a university in Kansas. And finally, there's Sharif, a kid who used to be in the streets but has found a better path by way of religion. From all that weed smoking, they get the munchies and head out for a bite. Along the way, Harold and Kane fall victim to a carjack. But Harold ain't trying to go out like that. When he tries to make his move, the jackers unload on him. The rest of the crew hear shots and they arrive to find a dead Harold, and Kane is down on the sidewalk. They scoop up Kane and rush him to the hospital. He survives with a shoulder wound. Ronnie comes by and takes him home. When O-Dog checks in on him, Grandpa has both of the young men sit down for a talking to. The God talk doesn't get through to either one. As they leave, Gramps asks Kane what should be a simple question concerning the value of his life. Kane has no answers. At Chauncey's place, the fellas are doing a recap of the robbery video. They need to get a YouTube channel. Get them likes and subscriptions up, folk. O-Dog informs Kane that they've got the 411 on the carjackers. Time for some get back. While Kane has witnessed plenty of killings, he's never done it himself. When he begins to put restrictions on the hit job, O-Dog flips out and questions Kane's mettle. They find the marks and they carry out the revenge for Harold's murder. Kane goes over to Ronnie's. He excuses himself to sneak money into her dresser drawer. He then spends some time with little Anthony. After Kane lays his gun on the dresser, he grants Anthony's request to handle it. Ronnie walks in and she rightfully goes off. She explains that she ain't trying to raise a future gangbanger, plus she returns the money that he tried to hide. She tells him that he doesn't owe Purnell anything and to choose better role models. Back at Chauncey's place, a dude in the underground car market shows up to deliver an assignment. The cat is way out of his element and Chauncey punks him after getting the info. O-Dog and Kane steal a vehicle matching the model, but are unable to make the getaway. O-Dog gets off with a warning due to being a minor, but Kane lands in jail. While still in custody, it's found that his fingerprints match the bottle from the robbery murder. Kane is in way over his head as he gets questioned by the detective. Despite his stuttering and stammering, they don't have enough to hold him for the robbery murder. Stacy and Sharif try to convince Kane to escape the chaos and move to Kansas with them. When Kane declines, they think it's because he's tied to Ronnie. Kane gets a new whip. He proceeds to accessorize it by way of jacking. He then meets a young lady, Alina, and runs his game. O-Dog has a crackhead who bargains way too hard for the crack rock. The cracky ends up catching bullets from O-Dog. Kane joins up with the rest of the crew at a picnic. Sharif's father, Mr. Butler, joins them. He doesn't admonish them for the weed or the foul language. He's focused on the food. He doesn't really respond when his son Sharif tries to share wisdom with an unreceptive audience. However, the next day in his classroom, it's a different Mr. Butler. When Kane joins Sharif and him, he presses Kane about his life's direction. He urges Kane seriously to consider going to Kansas with Sharif, because where he's at now is a death trap. As Kane brags to Sharif about his exploits with Alina, they get pulled over by the cops. The police rough them up and dump them in Mexican territory, yet they avoid more punishment and are taken to the hospital instead. Kane is running up a pretty high hospital bill at this point. I hope that he's got some good insurance. Ronnie goes to visit Kane and she's got some news. She's moving to Atlanta for a new gig and she wants Kane to come along. At Ronnie's going away party, she asks Kane if he's considered coming to the ATL. It's like pulling teeth, but he eventually agrees to go. Then that song Honey Love came on, and they bumped and grind. Chauncey gets way too hands-on with Ronnie. Enough is enough, and Kane pistol whips him into unconsciousness. Well, that ass whipping didn't sit right with Chauncey, cause now he's gonna send that robbery video to the police. Ronnie and Kane go to visit Purnell in prison. It's an icy meeting between Ronnie and him. He does a quick catch up with Kane and then gives him the real. He tells Kane that the things that he taught him was bullshit. He then gives Kane the okay to pursue Ronnie, even though he could have told him that a long time ago. Alina calls Kane to tell him that she's got a bun in the oven. Kane tells her that he's not the baker and it's not his problem. Alina's cousin steps to Kane for disrespecting her. For his efforts to protect, he's provided with a stomp nap. That display of brutality gets Kane kicked out of his grandparents' house. Not all bad, because the cops show up there looking for him and O-Dog. Everyone's at Ronnie's packing up the U-Haul headed to the A. Alina's cousin done round up some shooters to pay Kane a visit. Little Anthony is out playing when them cats come around the corner. They let off on the whole crew. Sharif takes heavy shots and goes down. He dead. Kane runs to protect Anthony, also taking heavy shots. He's dying. Okay, now he dead too. Live by the sword. You know the rest.